And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my two awesome co-hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the Gimpy Gamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
Another glorious day in the core, man.
There you go. And you got something really special we're going to talk about here that we can show everybody who's been
My
curious
spoon.
about this here.
I
pretty
wanted to
soon.
figure out what it's like to be old like Kevin, so I'm whittling.
And the Wargaming Wizard from Oz, Kev Clark from the Big Board. How's it going, Kev?
I quit.
You quit? Wow, that was fast.
Damn, got him in the first salvo.
Oh, man, suck.
Uh,
I'm good. I'm good. Good to be
Good.
here. Glad to be here. Whatever it is, whatever I'm supposed to be saying.
There you go. So
Jay Sturgill's picture. That looks like a picture of high school.
it does.
It looks
Yeah,
like
you
that
need the
does.
other picture, Jay. You need the other picture where he's like looking off into the distance, like where they superimpose him.
Oh, I can see that as like a cop picture, right?
Could be.
It just got promoted to lieutenant or something like that,
Yeah.
so he had to wear a suit and a tie and everything's up his uniform.
I'm a
No
detective
fleet
now.
for you.
Fango Dango.
Jeff is here. Tim, Stacking Limit,
Look at all the boys.
Cross, Nordic is here. Let's rock. There you go. So what are we playing today? What are you playing today, Fango? Tell us. So speaking of playing, we'll start off right away with the big reveal that Nate has because he can't wait to whip it out and show everybody.
You talking
Great
about
looks
the
with it,
one I
yeah.
was just showing you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Assault Games sent me this little.
It disappeared.
Right? Oh, come on, come on.
Rocket scientist.
There we go.
There you go.
Primasol Bridge.
It's very cool.
The expansion for Assault Sicily 43, and
43.
it is excellent. I mean, Assault Sicily 43 is already excellent. I mean,
The
if you don't
Assault
have it, you
system
should have.
and the series is fantastic. If you don't have it, you should definitely look into it.
I mean, I had two favorite hex encounter tactical games that were my favorite. It was Lock and Load and Conflict of Heroes. And I was like, others are good. Nothing else is going to break into that though. And then the
Oh, no.
first time I tried Assault,
Mhm.
straight into it because he tried new stuff. He was bringing something fresh to the table. The custom dice, the formation cards. You can play the same scenario 10 different times and it's going to play differently each and every time that you play that scenario because the way the formation cards work. No other
Yes.
tactical game plays like that.
And no other tactical game has custom dice either.
None
Yeah.
that I know of. I like the code.
What
Can
was
you
the
think
selling
of one?
point?
I
Is
can't
D6
think-
for
No, there is one. There is one that I can think of.
World War
right off the top of my
II?
head.
What, Memoir 44?
Armageddon War. Armageddon War. That uses custom dice. Remember Armageddon War by Lock by
Flying Pig.
Yeah, but that's
Uh,
modern, not World War II.
No, not World War II. Well, World War II isn't Memoir 44. Doesn't it have custom
Memoir
dice?
That
44,
doesn't
that's
count.
what
That's like a
Yeah.
kid's game.
It is, but I mean, it's a very simplistic, system. But
It has custom dice.
it does have custom dice.
Okay, well, it
pretty
still
sure.
doesn't count. It's
I'm
not
busting
really.
your balls to you.
But-
Custom dice.
The thing that's cool about that I love about the Assault series is you have all your little data cards that you set up,
Yeah.
and you can only have maybe say 3 or 4 units out on the field. You only have those 3 or 4 cards out there, but you can actually have like 20 units out there.
Mhm.
So you don't have to look at any like, this is a 2, 4, or whatever the numbers are. It's right on the data card. It's right there. Plus, you don't have to worry about that because it's dice.
Yeah, all the
But-
counters are clean. Like the
And the
board
counters are
looks
nice.
very clean.
Yeah, they're real clean, and
It's super clean.
it plays like a miniatures game.
It does.
Yep.
You could switch out miniatures and it'd be fine.
Absolutely.
You'd have no
Mhm.
no problem. Actually, shit, I can't remember the
Which
name.
I'm
of
going to end up doing at some point because I have my Tide of Iron miniature still.
Yeah, not
Oh,
Tide
you
of Iron.
really?
The other game,
Yeah.
like that
Sergeants?
Trench Legacy,
Trench.
Trench Warfare, Trench. Oh shit, I can't remember. They've got a World War II and a World War One version of it. Cover both. They have miniatures in that game. It's kind of like Axis and Allies mixed with a little bit of Hex Encounter, but they use minis. They've got
Okay.
the little minis for the bunkers and factories and whatnot. Yeah, there's both. There's World War One and World War Two. It's Trench Legacy, I think, is the exact name of it. I have to look it up just to be sure.
Okay.
but it does have legacy gameplay. But the miniatures would work well with Assault.
Nice. So that'll be cool. It's just
Yeah.
a system, and Wolfgang keeps just working with it. And talk about a great partnership.
Oh,
Sound
wow.
of Drums.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in together, it's just like, wow, you got two top tier guys right there working together. That's just fantastic for everybody.
Well, I get it because I mean that was one of the things he kept talking to me about was that he needed backing. He needed a publisher behind him, and he shopped it around. He wanted to go to another company and have them work with him because he was not a one man. Eric, what's his name? Rankle. Eric Rankle. Helps him
Mhm.
with the games, but they weren't publishers, so they were
Yeah.
having problems
Right.
with it, and he wanted to take it, but none of these other companies were going to take it because they already had their own versions, right? The Conflict of Peers out there, Lockwood
Sure.
Tactical's out there. They're not going to publish a competing game, which I don't blame them.
Mhm.
But it works well for
But,
Cinnamon
but
Drums.
isn't it funny now though that well, first of all, not only did Sound of Drums lift an already high quality solution, didn't the next module they released, Sicily module, was fantastic. See you guys. Um, they lifted the quality significantly with, particularly with the storage stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the counter quality and all the rest of it is fantastic. And then now, most Sound of Drums games are available on GMT's website too. So that's huge exposure for the boys. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And it just adds to the big European push with VUCA, Sound of Drums, and Assault with Sound of Drums. I mean, that's great for us. And the best part about it, these are all young people. They have, they're years ahead of these guys for the hobby. So we have nothing but good things to look forward to.
Yep.
And he's interested in putting out, top quality game. Like, so now all his effort is being put into bringing out new expansions, new
Mhm.
versions. He's not having to worry about that back end logistics crap. That's someone else's
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Now he can just focus on the game, and I can't praise it enough. I know some people think like, okay, well, he sent you the game, so you like it. I'm like, no, it's
No,
not
no,
that. The game just
it's
is that
a
damn
damn good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a solid game for sure.
So Jay said it was not a comp picture. He used it because it's his wife's favorite picture of it.
Oh, that's adorable. Little hot things. How do they do
And
that?
he got Space Infantry Resurgence on his game table, and his wife is sick of him playing your boot
I
camp
love it.
videos.
I love it.
Sorry, buddy. I appreciate the
There you go.
support, though.
That's a
There you
good
go.
game. That's a good solid take.
So that's now on pre-order from Soul Bridge, right?
Yes,
It's not available for
They're
distribution.
doing the pre-order right now for Prentice Bridge, and it was going to last until I forget exactly when you said, but I know it's towards the end of July. So you got a 2-3 weeks left to order it. But if you're going to get it, go ahead and jump on it to ensure you get your
Yeah, and
spot.
look forward. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, we'll be able to get him on for a Saturday show
Yeah,
and talk about Prim Soul Bridge.
I'll tell you real quick just what's in it. You're going to have the campaign book, which has the rules, the scenarios, the campaign, all that good stuff. Spiral bound. You've got 3 large map pieces, 3 small map pieces, 3 sheets of counters. Most of them are British. There's a few added on German units, but most of them are British units that are being added to it. A couple of decks of cards that add the command cards, the tactics cards, formation cards, unit cards. And the way this box is set up, it's got a plastic tray in it, just like they did all the others. So all the counters can go right in there. All the cards can go right in there. Plastic cover for it that has all the map pieces. No baggies, none of that bull crap. You don't have to look like the drug dealer starter kit for this game like every other game. They really do a good job when it comes to making it easy to get everything back into the box, and organize.
This right here, I agree 1,000%
Yeah.
on, especially any larger rule books. And before I was saying anything above 70 or 80 pages, where the perfect binding doesn't, you kind of stop after like 70 or 80 pages. But no, I think anything above 40 or 50 really would be best served with a spiral bound rule book. It just lays flat. You can flip it over everything. It's so much more versatile.
This is Armored Knights Case Blue. This is from Grognard Simulations. 30
Mhm.
pages, and he spiral bound it.
Yeah.
Right, and it's so much easier. Every game company should just go with this because it makes it so
What?
much easier to read it.
Wait, when did you order that?
I didn't order this one.
He's special.
This is
Did you?
the
Oh, he
yeah.
sent you. Oh, you just got the rules, or he sent you a complimentary?
No, he sent me a copy of it. It's over, on my table. I've got it coming up next.
It's good. It's great.
That's the one I told
Great.
you about that I bought his
Yeah,
first game,
yeah,
covered
yeah,
it, did
yeah.
well, and
Yeah, that's just great. That's great.
showed
You know,
That's
me
just
out.
I dropped the
effing
money.
great.
I dropped that. I dropped the money for that game, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so excited because I'm wrapping up a monster game, and I've got the tables cleared. I'm going to have time in between two other monster games that are coming in." And he sends me a text. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I'm on vacation," which I totally get. It's fine. I won't be able to ship any games till July 11th.
Okay.
But I'm glad you got a copy. That's fantastic. That's fucking
He
tastic.
he was the last game that was shipped before he went on vacation.
Do you think that's bad that if a publisher sends out the review copies first? Because I've had people give me hell.
No,
No.
I'm not complaining about it. I mean,
Review copies tend to go out. Well, they
it should
normally
go out
should go out
first.
first. Yeah.
I'm not brokenhearted that I didn't get a review copy because then I have to, it colors my perception of things, and I've already given. He's never going to send me a review copy anyway of anything because I'm fairly critical of the Death Ride, whatever it's called, system anyway. So
That's not
there's
really fair though, because I was very critical of him with the setup for Death Knight. Remember, we talked about that.
You were picking on the setup. Kev ripped apart the system.
Yeah, I mean, well, I
don't
played.
think
I
the
played with
system
a
was
game
bad for
designer and two other a game developer and a long-term hardcore grognard, and we all walked away somewhat, if not completely dissatisfied.
Which game was it?
Linking two modules of Death Row together.
Which two
Talking
modules?
something and something division of something.
This the
whatever.
something. I played something.
Kursk, the big stuff, the big kahuna, two of the modules.
Uh,
20 maps or something stupid.
The one I played was a single mapper.
Yeah, that's
two
Aras.
mapper.
Aras. I've got that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got.
Now, I thought
See,
the game played fine. It was just a pain in the ass to get it set up.
See, the
Right.
thing was, you slapped it around a little on the setup. Kev was like, he treated it like Mary Jane Kelly was treated by Jack the Ripper. So he eviscerated it.
So I don't expect to get any complimentary copies. And also, I've seen
No,
the
yeah,
evolution of the
yeah.
system, right? I've seen
Yeah.
it go from 15 or 20 pages of rules or 25 pages of rules in Sicily, which I still own.
To a
Salerno it is, which I
monstrosity.
own one of those. I actually bought a second module of that to try it all together because there's 3 or 4 modules for it. But the rules have gone from the rules that you read, Gimpy, to 98 pages.
Oh
right?
yeah, it
So-
wasn't anywhere near that long.
Right. So all the charts have changed and all that sort of stuff. And there's complications and issues is all I'm saying. And I think it could use a really good developer and someone who would listen. I like Chris as a person. He's a very sweet, nice man. Although he did duck out of the opportunity for me to give him some feedback at a con and didn't turn up the next day. But maybe he got sick or something. I don't know. Because I wanted to share everything from not just from me, but from the other people that have played who had long-term game development experience and designer experience to try and share some concerns. And I think he's fixed some of the concerns that we had, DPI quality, map quality,
Mhm.
color consistency, map size, counter quality, counter thickness. I mean, there's just aesthetically, it's somewhat of a shit show, and it's now somewhat less of a shit show with the Death Ride system. So anyway, the point about all that is that I'm super excited about Armored Knights because it's gone through a huge rewrite because I played Desna, Crossing the Desna, and I really didn't like that very much at all. And the new rules, which I've downloaded and read, I'm like, wow, this looks really awesome. And it's freaking Case Blue at 500 meters a hex or something like that. how epic is that going to be? So of course I spotted the money for it. And I'm not going to say that loud because the missus is in the room next door. So that's why I was selling some games off to finance buying it. So I'm a fan, but I'm a cautious fan.
Well,
But I'm pissed that you got the game first.
I think he kind of changed his mindset on that because, like I said, I sat with him for a couple hours one evening. We had like a telephone conference. I had my camera going, pointed down at the game, and I'm like, "Look, blah 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 blah. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what doesn't make sense." I'm like, "So explain to me what you were going for here." And
Right.
he talked me through it, and I'm like, "Okay, this is what it reads like because I'm coming at it from a fresh perspective." I'm like,
Yep.
"So your point's not
Yep.
coming across here," and some of the stuff was me just reading it wrong. Some of it was stuff that didn't need to be clarified. But yeah, we spent a
Because he
couple
doesn't get a
hours.
blind test. He doesn't get a blind test or a blind,
No,
even a
he's got
blind play
buddies.
read.
His buddies and his son who are playing,
Yeah.
which is fine. And have people who play who know the system makes facilitating play testing
Mhm.
much better. That's fantastic. But I think you also have to have blind play testers where someone gets a game or a portion of a game, or you
Yeah.
can send them
Even
a
if it's
small
just a turn or two.
scenario.
Yeah.
You just
That's
send
it.
them a scenario with 2 maps and 100
Read the
cards and go,
rules. Yeah.
read the rules, play this, and tell me where it's fubad, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway,
No, I don't disagree with you.
Speaking of rules, Nordic says, I'm surprised my profanity at least tirades about bash all their fears if Ben Hull hasn't put out a hit on them yet. Because that one was the one with the travesty of a rule book, if I remember correctly.
Who put that one out?
who published that?
GMT.
Yeah, that was. I heard that was.
Well, that's not surprising.
It had no setups in it, I think, and it had rules that were a
You're
mess.
kidding me. Now,
Yeah,
what was that? What was that? What's the topic again?
Isn't that like musket and pike or something? Remind us on that one, Nordic. I think that's what that is.
I think some of these war game companies, and I could see GMT doing this, are starting to lean towards wanting to do like digital everything, like just download the rules instead of putting them in games. And I'm like,
It is Bayonet and Muskets, Bayonet and Musket Battles Volume 1.
Right.
It's a
new system.
follow up on the Musket and Pike.
It's not really
Kind
a
of
new
Musket and
system.
Pike.
They got games in that system.
No, it's different than Musket and Pike. And Musket and Pike was kind of like great battles of history with guns, and it was just awkward. I bought that whole series, then it went out of print. I think I sold the whole thing for like $750.
No,
And,
Great Battles of History is crap. Simple Great Battles of History is really good.
Simple for simple people.
I like the streamlined rules for it. I did not like
Great Battles of Crayon and History. That's what you like. Yeah.
Great crayons of
I
history.
don't want to sit there for
Great
hours
crayons.
trying to figure something out. If you make it
You know
overly
what?
complex, then
You know what? If you play both, I actually, now that I've played both, I actually prefer the mature rules. But since I've played it so much, I play my own way. I use a blend of all of them and I just play because it's 6 of one, half dozen.
I could see
I
that.
agree with you, Gimpy, that the simple one is probably simpler, but it's still kind of involved.
Gimpy, which leg doesn't have the gimp in it? Need to know my target after that one.
Yeah, the middle one.
It's actually the spine, but
The little one?
The middle one.
Well, middle one, middle one.
the middle one's the big one. Like a freaking
So-
tripod over here.
Yeah, that cane does make a difference. But
Stay tuned, folks. We're here
Yeah.
all night. So much for having a short show. We haven't even got started.
we haven't gotten into our topics yet. So, topic of the night. What should we talk about? Let's see. Because if I did that, his wife would put out a hit on. Yep, she would. She definitely would. So,
Well, we wanted to make sure we discussed Primsol.
Primsol, yes.
Yeah.
Primsol
Well, I
is
think we
the
got that off your chest, didn't we?
first order of business, which we were going to talk about.
Well, before we go any further, hang on one sec. Under an Iron Sky is
Reprinting.
coming. Like they've printed it, it's being packed up. I'm getting it's a shorter set of designer notes. I'll be doing an exclusive release on that.
Nice.
Maybe this week sometime. my understanding is there are some copies available. So if you ever wanted to play 1985
It's
World
so
War
good.
III, it's
It's so
there for the taking. And the last time I saw a secondhand copy go for sale was like $350, which is about $150 over a wrist. So
I'm gonna have to reach out to him because I want to upgrade my first edition one.
yeah, you should see if he can send you one. He actually offered to send me a copy gratis, and I couldn't do it. I said, dude, you need to make the money, but I'll take a discount. So I took a discount because I'm doing, I'm going to do some stuff
Yeah.
for him. So that was
Yeah.
nice of him to do that. But so if you guys get free stuff, I want to know because I want my money back for that.
No,
So,
no, I'm gonna reach out to him. See if he, hey, hook us up with a discount. We'll get him on the
yeah,
show.
give us a free game. I heard Kev got free stuff. What's up, man?
See, I
What the
kind
hell?
of felt bad because
Send us 4 copies.
what was it? In a Dark Wood. Remember he
Oh, yeah.
told us he
Yeah.
only had like 50 copies left. And I messaged him after the show and I was like, hey, I'll buy one if you'll set one aside for me. And he's like, oh, I'll send it to you. And I'm like, look, just let me at least pay for shipping. Since you're
Right.
coming from Europe, I'll cover that at least. So I
Actually,
sent him
it
the
comes
shipping.
from Texas.
What's that?
Actually, it comes from Texas. Right
Now
next to
they
me.
do.
Yeah.
Now they do. I
Yeah.
don't think back then at that point.
Because I expected the shipping to be more, but it was
I
like
think it did.
20 some dollars or something like that. But I felt bad because some other people were trying to get it and they weren't able to get it, but there was only like 50 copies left. It was not like he had hundreds of copies.
They go fast. I think he might have done a slightly larger run this time, I'm hoping, because last time was like 750.
Did he do my suggestion of making prints of the cover art?
Yeah.
It comes in the box.
It comes in the box.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
For
I
sight,
did compliment them on that. They've got some of the best
They
cover
have
art.
absolutely.
The
some of
cover
the best
art
covers.
is stupid good.
And this one is better than the first one.
Oh, it's so much better than the
The
first
first one was
We lost you,
great.
Kev.
First one was real great, but then this updated one was great, just like Less Than 60 Miles. The
Yeah.
first one was great, and then they kind of boosted it up a little bit more for the second echelon. It looks
If
really
you made posters of all 3, I would buy posters of all 3.
Yes.
And frame them.
I told him he needs to do that.
Right there. Yeah.
You need
I
to
will
make
do
that in the poster size because even if it's not full poster size, but like smaller, either way, those would be that's frameable material in the game room.
Yeah, but don't make it the European size. The poster. Make it American size.
A4, B5, which one?
Which size do you want for the poster?
He's listening, going, "You bastards!"
Fuck you.
Oh, here we
Kevin.
go. Talk about how Kev loves the Charlies. I think
Oh, here's a
Kev
topic.
wants to talk about that.
Why
Yeah.
am I?
Sure.
Please.
Love if
The
someone
reason I
made
got pissed off
posters.
about the Charlies was that stupid submarine.
Y'all gotta let me know what you were talking about because I lost my speakers there for a minute. And I had no clue what the hell you guys were saying. Like they just cut off on me.
Dude. You missed out. We're done.
Oh,
We
we're
finished
talking
the
about how you can
Charlies.
get a free copy of everything.
You guys were very animated. You looked very excited.
Well, see,
We
that's
were.
just because we're entertaining, buddy. It's full production value. See?
All right. So what are we on now?
So now we're going to talk about someone had brought up, which you had seen about stacking limit, had brought up about talk about how Kev loves the Charlies. So I guess Charlies are up next because that was just announced this weekend, wasn't it?
It was 4 days ago.
Saturday for this
Who
weekend.
voted, first of all?
I did not.
It's listed
I
down
didn't
at the
know.
top.
Did you? What was that, Nate?
It's listed down at the top. At the name of everyone.
What is?
If you look at it here, nominating committee, and it's got everyone listed down.
No. The people, because they had the ballot. This is the people who, the nominating committee. But I mean, as far as like who voted, are you talking about
Oh,
that,
like-
Kev, or are you talking about?
Yeah, like I was asking if you guys voted because I didn't vote. I forgot all about it, or in fact, I don't think I even saw it. And I know that I have at least 5 emails that were just to vote. So.
That's the type of voting we were talking about,
No.
Nate. I thought so. Anybody in the audience who want to chime in, please feel
Yeah, who
free.
voted in the audience?
Who voted in the audience, and did your votes count? Did your choices win?
Well, I mean, the very first one is right along what we were just talking about. Ancients, the fate of all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's,
which we're happy for, obviously.
True
Fabrizio
war
winning.
game. True war game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an easy win, though. I mean, it beats out everything else that's listed. I mean, not hating on any of the other games or anything like that, but
Yeah.
the fate of all is just
Yeah.
such a big release.
So Fango did not vote.
Yeah.
Danny did, and several of his won. So he's obviously the swing vote here. His
Yeah,
vote
exactly.
made the winners.
Be curious to see the vote counts. That's, I think, some sort of transparency would be nice. But in speaking of the Ancients game, so the Betis campaign,
Mhm.
played that, pretty solid game. Certainly not the best Ancients game ever. So Dan has done a lot of scenario design for Great Battles of History. That's where you would know his name from. And then Rome Inc. gets huge accolades from everybody, and I've not been able to buy the original one, and I was hoping to get that before I bought this one. But I'm curious about that game, but I don't think it's super popular, just because it's pretty complicated. So, and the others are fairly light. Sounded in History of the Ancient Seas, it's a block game. It's pretty light, and I don't know the Hollenspiel stuff. John does some pretty good stuff, but I don't know it. I don't know that game.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think
familiar
that's a
with that one
solitaire
either.
game. I think it's a solitaire game off the top of my head.
Oh, block
Good
games
choice.
have actually really been growing on me as of late.
What's that?
Block games. I used to avoid all block games, but
Really?
they've grown on me since I've started giving them an honest chance. That Quebec 1759.
That was a great game.
Yeah. What was the other one by Columbia? You mentioned Alliance.
Alliance.
Yeah, Alliance. Yeah. That one, it's kind of like a scaled down. Shit, I can't remember the name of that huge game that I covered. Imperial Borders. It's kind of like a scaled down Imperial Borders. Same people who made War Room.
Okay. Ides of March is a 2-player.
Yeah, oh, it is 2-player. Okay,
Yeah, I did look it up
I'm
'cause
looking
I
at the
wasn't
map
familiar
now.
with
Yeah, it looks like the Succession or something. Liberator Civil War. There we go.
Yeah, I had to look it up.
Yeah.
So then we had Best
Not familiar.
Medieval Game. The winner was Tanto Monta,
Yeah,
I don't even know that
which
one.
is
kind of, sort of a war game. Not really.
I'm not
But
sure
then
what
again, there's only 2 war games in there: Norman Conquest and Sword of Orthodoxy, which I think is a war game. But A Guest of Robin Hood is not, and the Indian game is certainly not. It's a coin game.
Oh, this looks like okay. So it is. It's a prequel to Here I Stand. Tanto Monta. That's why I didn't know anything about it, because I see Here I Stand and I'm just like eyes glaze over. I'm like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
Isn't
And,
Here I Stand
interesting
political?
strategy, interesting historical strategy.
CDGs
CDG
have a
not a war.
tendency to just make me not want to play them.
But that's like a political intrigue or something game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strategy game.
It's a strategy.
Strategic, it's
It's
all
not a
strategic
war game.
decision. It's not a war game.
No.
No.
It may have war-y bits, but
it's made by GMT, right?
Yeah.
I think some people look at it and they look at the
Yes.
publisher and they're like, okay, well, the
Yeah.
publisher makes war games, so we'll count it. And it's like, well, it doesn't really work that way.
Sword of Orthodoxy is a Ben Madison Scope of History solitaire game.
Yeah, so it looks just from looking at it similar to Wars of Marcus Aurelius, which was a great game by Hollenspiel, but don't know that game.
Is Hollenspiel still
Specifically.
around? Didn't they get like bought out?
No, they're just making games with string and pegs or something. I don't know.
I haven't heard much about them in the last while.
They did votes for women. They won a Charlie, man. I mean, come on. game was a
See that one Norman Conquest Men of Iron that was up there for it as well, and that one I've never played any of the Men of Iron games. So they good?
it's good. Yeah, it's a good system. I know Ralph quite well.
Mhm.
Drunk more than 400 beers with him. Uh, really detailed developer and
Yes.
saved a lot of Richard Berg's later games in his twilight years because he was primary developer, only guy that could put up with Richard's bullshit, right? So, so I'm disappointed for Ralph that he didn't get that, but I can see why too. It's not a topic I'm super interested in, but
Yeah.
I like the system.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the images. I may have to pick that up. Try it out.
They
Looks
did
like it could be
Infidel, and Infidel was great. Those were great Crusade battles.
Mhm.
That's a lot of fun stuff. I
Hmm.
enjoyed that. Probably my favorite.
Yeah, I may have to give that one a look. This is so accurate. I, Napoleon, Queen of the Skies. Well, I mean, when we get to that, we'll get to that because I got
Can
some.
we
I have
please
thoughts.
skip straight to it now? Oh my god, that is classic. Was that Stuka? Oh, who was
Alan
that?
Steele
Yeah,
did
that
not
was
do
Stuka.
votes for women. That was
Stuka.
who did votes for women? Circle.
What are we doing? Where are we at? Industrial. What are we at?
Who cares? It's
Uh,
not a war game.
Best gunpowder.
It was no. I'm trying to find out who did votes for women because they were saying it wasn't. It was Fort Circle. That's who it was. Okay, so best gunpowder.
I'm sorry. I thought it was home. My apologies. Fort Circle, another huge war game company.
Gunpowder or industrial area. Not area.
Area.
The best gunpowder or industrial area.
The best
Winner
gunpowder
was
or urban
Cowpens
area.
1781, designed by Pascal Tupi, and it is published in Vivictus issue 176.
Very nice. Don't know it at all.
That one I definitely want to check out. Then there was Banish All Their Fears, which was in there, and that is one that I know for a fact that Nordic had strongly voted for that one. Battle of Sekigahara, that was published by a historical
great
game
battle.
company.
I've had a look at that game briefly, but have not played it.
GMT's got a block game based on that.
Which one?
Yes.
Second
Battle
Ghost.
of
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sekigahara.
Yeah, it's been around for a long, long time though.
Yeah. Well, which I like. I like that game actually. But,
Hey Tony.
hey Tony.
What the hell?
European
Kev,
European
Mo, it's like there's no
turmoil.
Nate way the hell down here. Love you too, Tony.
How did Banish All Their Turds get in there? I'm going to call and question the validity of these votes. Well, you have one of the people that is involved in it right here.
Yeah, so
Mo.
help us understand how that got on the list, Gimpy.
Because the list isn't curated by one person.
Curated.
It's not curated by
And
one
there was
person,
one
it's
other
curated by-
person who was on my side and quit out of the Charlies a couple of years back.
Well, so do they
Who's that?
pull the entire list of all the games for each era and then go who should be included?
It's the nomination thing, like nominate for each era.
Each individual member of the council or the board or whatever. Okay.
Can
And
nominate
so-
for an era, and then the eras are voted on for what to be
All
included.
right, so not in the back room doing the hey, let's make sure that Banish All Their Fears gets on the list.
No.
Vote. Then you don't count.
No.
Because I'm sure that's how it works. 4 guys go 4 out of the. How many are there on the board?
11?
5,
11?
11.
Something like
Okay,
that.
so 6 of them get together.
3, 4, 5, 6,
I'm just being cynical. Well, look, it's a pity that Europe in Turmoil 2 did
13.
not.
No, it's
get more
13.
love.
13 people.
13.
Well, the funny thing is, if you're in Europe in Turmoil 2 had won that would have been kind of fitting, because it's the one that's not a war game in that group.
Yeah.
So, but the other ones, I have not. I don't have any opinions on. If anybody in the audience has any opinions on any of them, definitely share them in the channel, and I'd love to hear your opinions on those. Then we get to the best Napoleonic game. Winner,
I've been
I
waiting for that.
Napoleon. Winner, I Napoleon, Queen of the Skies, against
Look at the skies.
1812 Napoleon's Fateful March, Alliance, Napoleon's End, Winter's Victory. So
The best
you have the one non-war game card flipping narrative generator
role
against
playing game
role playing game against war games, and it wins.
as defined in the rule book. This is a card driven role playing game
Yeah.
where you get to deal with all the issues that Napoleon dealt with, including romance and political intrigue.
Well, you really studied that to just rip it all off like riff it all off
Just,
like that. Well, yeah,
I,
that's the
I,
thing. I mean, that's where the frustration comes in. It's like it's not a war game. OSG game should have won. Um,
well, I think we
well,
just
in there you had what do you got?
why
1812
did,
Napoleon's Fateful March from VUCA Alliance
what,
from
what about
Columbia.
what about Sound of the Drums Island? Wasn't that last year? Why didn't that get nominated?
That should have been in there.
I mean, what a stunning, like innovative system. But
That was 24, was it not?
20? Was that 24? So last?
I think it was
No, it's not,
24. Napoleon's End by OSG, and of course, Winner's Victory by New England Simulation. So you had really top quality Napoleonic
across
games
the
in there.
board, and then
Yeah.
GMT gets some, and then poor old, I've lost my mind, Ted Racia.
My Napoleon
Dude.
dating simulator.
Yeah, but to
Yeah.
be fair, I mean, the ones that win are the ones that have people go out and vote for them.
Well, that's the thing is
Yeah.
people vote for it because number one, it's an easy game. It's an easy game to play. You're literally flipping cards and just okay, yeah, he may die in the first turn or something like that, or not be born or
Yeah.
something like that. So the thing about it is, this is why I was saying that there needs to be not should needs to be two separate categories: historical board games and war
And
games.
war games.
You can have them for the same eras or
Yeah.
break them
Yeah.
down differently if
Yeah.
you want, but you
Yeah.
need to separate them.
Dude, you
Because
remember that
otherwise-
conversation we had a couple years back? And
I
it
do.
just
I
was
brought that
not
up, and
well received.
I was basically laughed out.
No,
you know, and
we
I was
were
just-
outnumbered. I mean,
Yeah,
I agreed.
I was
with you.
like, I'm done.
But
You know, 'cause-
remember, some of them were wanting to have something like 30 or 40 different categories, and you just
yeah, I
couldn't
mean,
do that.
you do have to. I mean, you do have to limit the categories. You can't have like 200 categories. I mean, this is not the Academy Awards where we're going to have the best developed artwork.
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
best
it dilutes the
pieces.
value. It dilutes the
Yeah.
value of the award, and this is a whole historical problem, right? So these awards started in what 75, 76 or something like that, and it was wargaming, and then it got changed to historical wargaming in 2021, I think. No, that's right. Here it is. 2005, it was changed to historical wargaming. And then I think Charles passed away whenever he passed away, and then the daughter and all the hanger-oners and the crew, then we'll leave all the names out, changed it to conflict simulations so that it could be a broader set of games that are absolutely not wargaming, not in the intent of the Charlies, and certainly not in the intent of the last 25, 45 years or however long it's been for this award, this set of awards.
Well, the
So
problem
it's kind
is
of a
you-
bullshit deal.
you have some people who wanted to include, and this happens when people change rules. They want to change rules for X reason, like they have a specific reason, but they're acting like it's a general reason. They wanted to include certain games into it, right? Because they like that game and for whatever their personal reasons. So then they do so, but now you've expanded it and it's not what it was originally. You might have won your little battle, but you've changed the entire scope of the war.
That's not,
Yeah, but see, the thing is there have been other games. I mean, like Twilight Struggle won across the years and stuff like that. There were other games. It wasn't just strictly war games, but like 99% of the games that won were war games because it was a war game award.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Kev's
The
favorite
Cold
game,
War-
U-Boat.
yeah,
Best
it-
map,
it's
baby,
more
best
recent,
map.
yeah.
but the whole thing is it was always a war game award. Then it changed conflict simulation, which it just muddies the waters incredibly because every game is a conflict simulation that is a competitive game, technically.
I mean,
Any
if you
game,
think about it
record
that way, you
is
could
a conflict
call
simulation.
Root
know.
You know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you dumb it down to that
Yeah.
level, then everything's a
Well,
comfort
yeah, it's
zone.
this whole genericizing of the category to diminish, and personally, I think it's to diminish wargaming and sort of downplay it because wargaming it's kind of uncomfortable for feelings, and let's just have let's have votes for women, let's have the U-boat, let's have these other little Belgium, even the guy, and he's now on the board, right? Even he said he nominated the game as a joke, right? And it won.
Oh no, no, that was that one. What was it? One sheet
Was that Little
Belgium
Belgium?
or something? No, no, it wasn't Brave Little Belgium. It was he did Brave Little Belgium, but then he made that little postcard game. That was a joke. It was literally a joke.
Oh, I thought it was Brave
That's
Little
the one.
Belgium.
That was the one, and I
No,
forget what it
Brave
was
Little
called.
Belgium
Okay.
actually was a war game.
No, Brave
Yeah,
Little
that was a
Belgium
word.
actually
But
won.
but
Yeah.
he did no, he made the postcard that won too, and that was a joke. That was a joke game that he made, and it won.
Oh, okay, okay. So,
So
I
you were on the right track. It was just you were getting the game.
So I just think that I think we need to just keep the categories pure. Let's keep historical wargaming. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah,
That can be
historical
anything.
wargaming and historical
We
war
can put a
games.
box around it. We have strategy games. We can call them Euro games. We can have Ameritrash games. We can have political conflict games. Maybe it was Lucky Little
It
Luxembourg.
was
I
Lucky
don't
Little
know.
Luxembourg.
So whatever it was, right? That's beside the point.
Well,
The
I mean, if
greater
you
point
want, we
here
could
is
do
let's have
the.
category. Let's have the right categories for the right type of game,
Absolutely.
so that Lock and Load Tactical doesn't compete against votes for women or equivalent, right? Or that Cuba Libre doesn't compete with Vietnam for best modern war game. That's
Mhm.
I'm happy to have as many categories as you want if you feel you need to have them.
You can include them. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. You
but
can
let's
include them
not.
by broadening things. You don't have to
Yes,
include
but
by
let's not
excluding.
diminish a
Yeah.
category that has a very um, focused interest, and people want to see the games that of their interest group be rewarded for whatever, if it matters, right? I
Mhm.
don't know that these awards are even relevant anymore, but assuming that they are, then let's keep them focused on what they were originally intended to be,
No,
which
I've
was.
I've talked to publishers. They say they're relevant, that they see an uptick in sales and stuff when they
But that's
run.
fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
So it's having a benefit to at least some of the publishers. We could do in December. We could do a whiskey Charlie's.
Well, I had said that, a while
Uh,
ago. We should do our
Someone
own
wants to do
Charlie's,
the
the whiskey
work.
Charlie's.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, I
Someone
do
wants to do
a
the
top
work.
video
Yep.
each year. I always do my top of the year. So,
But it's what you've played, right?
well, I can
So
only include what I've put on the table. I won't include something I haven't
right,
actually
right,
played.
right. So that begs the question: how many of the people who are nominating these titles have actually played the games they're nominating?
That's some of the problem though. Is like for myself, I'm not very interested in Napoleonics,
I would say
so
a
I
lot more
haven't
people
played
played I
much.
Napoleon than they played any of the others in that category.
Sure,
I would say
sure.
that more people played that. They did. But
Yeah,
again, whether it got 5,000 plays and the other one's got 10 plays, they're not apples and apples. They're apples and
yeah.
oranges. Completely different games. So they should not be in the same category. That's like saying, okay, for best sports movie, we're going to have Miracle, The Longest Yard, and Lassie Come Home.
Right,
What?
right. I Napoleon has 30 counters and 222 playing cards.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a card flipper. Let's call it what it is. It's not a war game, and it shouldn't have won, but B should not have been on the list to start. That's the problem.
Well, people will
So
naturally vote for stuff that they recognize. If they
right,
don't
but
recognize three of the games on
yeah,
the
but
category,
Gimpy, if it's not on the list, it doesn't
hey,
get the votes,
I
and that's
agree.
the
I
problem.
don't disagree.
Is the board is putting bullshit games up to be voted on that they know it's going to go to GMT, or they know that it's going to go to this game because it had 4,000 copies printed and 2,000 people bought it, and 1,700 of those voted. So,
Well, it's like the one I beat to death all the time is, comparing an 18xx game to
right,
Ticket to
right,
Ride.
right.
It's like, well, they both have trains. So
Yeah,
if a Ticket to
should
Ride
be
gamer
included,
says,
right.
I'm a train gamer, an 18xx guy going to go, really? Oh, what do you play? Which 18xx game? I play Ticket to Ride. You're going to be laughed at. Yeah, it's like that's not a train
Ex-
game.
Exactly.
But
Anyway,
so now we're on to Best American Civil War Game. Winner was Rebel Fury, designed by first-time designer Mark Herman.
yeah, never heard of that guy.
I think I
That
might
went
have
up
spoke to him
against
once or twice.
Gettysburg 1863, Shiloh the First Day from Revolution. Gettysburg 1863 was from Worthington. Tattered Flags into the Whirlpool, which is Herm Lettman, our buddy Herm Lettman did that for Blue Panther. And then Thunder on the Mississippi, which was done by M&P.
Yeah.
So that's a really stacked category right there.
Yeah.
Same as the Napoleonic one.
They have got to get more publicity. I'll never stop saying that. If they would just get comfortable with a handful of people that would help promote them, it's like they just throw up their hands. We'll print the rest of the stuff and we're fine because we're going to sell ASL. So screw it. We don't have to cultivate these relationships. Like,
Yeah, multi-man's going to sell 1,700 of those Thunder on the Mississippi's anyway, and 80% of them are going to stay in the box. Rebel Fury is a good system. I don't think it was awesome, but it was good. I'm curious about it, the next volume that's coming out, so we'll see what happens with that.
So that was the ACW game. And then we have next the Best World War One game. And the winner was Schutztruppe, High Safari from Compass. And then you had Caporetto 1917 from Europa Simulazione. Italius 1917, 1918, Farewell to Arms from Nuts Publishing, and Mud and Blood from Three Crowns Games. So
Yeah,
that's another stacked category.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, a bunch of solid contenders there.
Yeah.
Heard good things about Mud and Blood, Caporetto, and Schutztruppe too. So,
Yep. And then we had Best World War II game, Panzer North Africa. I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, James Day. He's the designer.
it's a new guy, isn't he?
That's from, yeah. I guess he must do okay with tanks. GMT Games published that one. You had Old School Tactical Volume 4, Italian Theater from Flying Pig, 1 Hour World War II from Worthington, Stalingrad Roads, Battle on the Edge of the Abyss from Nuts Publishing, and The Greatest Day Utah Beach from MMP. So kind of the same cast of characters in the Best World War II as we saw in the Best World War One.
Yeah, pretty much.
I played 3 out of the 5 of those, and I'm not. This is going to sound like I'm beating on GMT tonight, but I'm dubious about Panzer North Africa being the most popular game.
It has the most notoriety because everybody's familiar with the Panzer system.
It came out, and a handful of guys did a shrink rip, and I played some, and I never saw anyone post about it ever again. It's like it's gone unless you're in the James Day Facebook group. But Old School Tactical gets talked about all the time.
Yeah.
That 1 Hour World War II is actually a very, very smart, even though the guy's a Kiwi, Clint, despite the fact that he's a Kiwi, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent game. And what can I say? I can't give a Kiwi any credit. And Stalingrad Roads is a very good game as well. It's a significant game. So, and the Greatest Day, okay, it's got the stock weather stink on it. So that's a thing.
And then we move on to
152 though.
What's
I
that?
didn't know it was that expensive.
Panzer North Africa.
Good freaking grief.
It's a massive, massive, massive module. Massive.
Really?
It's a 10-pound box. It is you can look it up online. It's hundreds of counters, dozens of maps, huge orders of battle, lots and lots of scenarios. It's a really good module. I just, I'm actually kind of at the point where I'm ready to let my World War II Panzer system go and just keep the modern stuff. Probably played enough.
They have 8 counter sheets, 6 double-sided map boards, which is, I think that's kind of standard with all the tank games. Then you have 49 double-sided data cards, 45 terrain overlays, uh,
Mhm.
rule book.
That's right. They did terrain overlays in that one. Yeah.
So you got basic and advanced rules, then you have optional rules, then you have solitaire rules, and then a scenario book and solitaire scenario book. 30 total scenarios included.
Look,
So yeah, it's
I'm
pretty
eyeballing this
packed.
real quick, and they really don't have anyone who's putting some like actual time towards playing the game. There's one 16-minute review from Rob's Tabletop, but he's not playing it. And then they
Right.
have something like 10 shrink rips, unboxing videos from a bunch of different people, but there's no videos of anyone actually gaming it.
Well, I think. I- what's up?
Well, I think it really comes down to the fact that it's the Panzer system, and everybody knows Panzer MBT, all that. So they know it's a proven system. It's a tried and true,
Yeah, yeah,
So it's gonna be a winner. In the
yeah.
eyes of the customer, it's gonna be a winner.
Let me see here.
Strangely
Anybody
enough,
in the audience played it?
what number is that in the system? Because I've got something like 4
The,
boxes of
the
Panzer.
latest one. See, I have a 23-minute video review, uh, a 3-minute. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 or 8 videos on it.
Oh, they didn't link to your shorts then. They only linked
Oh,
to the.
no, they're real videos, jackass. No, they don't link to my stuff anyway. I don't care what.
Yeah, they do.
That's it.
They got you listed down.
Oh, okay. There you go. How about that?
Yeah,
I'm
15-minute
special.
unboxing from Big Board.
Did you
Right.
not? Did you not vote for it stacking because you didn't like it, or you just chose another game instead?
Yeah, what did you vote for? I'm curious of what of these, because it's a spread too of tactical through to grand strategy, right?
I would have picked old school tactical on that.
Yeah, I would have.
Thank you, Danny. My new shorts are even shorter.
Stacking
And
said the
tighter.
same thing. OST.
Yeah, that OST module is actually really good.
So now we're on to best modern, and the best modern winner was Purple Haze from Phalanx. Up against it was 85 Afghanistan, Graveyard of Empires from Flying Pig, Operation Volleybank from Snafu Design, and Rifles in the Nom from Tiny Battle Publishing. So a very small number
Mhm.
of modern era games, which proves that we need more modern era games.
Yeah. What happened to Red Strike won last year, didn't they? Okay, so Purple Haze. I'm going to ask this because I haven't played it and I almost lost my mind and bought it all. But
Well, that's a shock.
shame, you're funny. But Purple Haze, RPG or war game?
Yeah, I was thinking that's an RPG game, isn't
That's
it?
not a war game. No, it's more of an experience.
Yeah,
Experience game.
This is
It
the
does have
problem.
some war gamey aspects to it, and it's definitely more RPG light.
Right.
Like I said, it's more to me. It's more of an experience game.
You could call
Mhm.
Than
American
it is a
Tank
war
Ace an
game.
RPG light.
What's that?
You could call American Tank Ace RPG light. You gain experience points.
Yeah, you
your
could.
characters level up.
You could, yeah, you
Right,
could
but that
say
has actual
yeah.
war game features in it.
Yeah, you're actually literally number one. The whole point of it is kinetic
Yeah.
combat,
Yeah,
and then the other is you're
contact,
making
yeah.
definite choices for that. You're making choices in this too, but it's like I said, it's more of an experience game, and that's not taking anything away from it. I think it's a really fun game, but that is another one that I think it would have been best served to have that separated out
Right.
than
I,
to have it in there.
I think that one won just because it was popular. I'm not hating on the game
Yeah.
system. I mean, I've heard good
Yeah.
things about it,
Yeah.
but I think it was
You-
just
you-
popular.
When you get Phalanx, they have a huge customer base, huge email list, and yeah, I know I saw that. It's pretty funny, and so they're going to get a lot of votes.
You know what else
I just-
Phalanx got? U-boat.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Hey, so Robert O posts, I think OST to be too simplistic. Answer is more old school. Here's the problem with the fundamental problem with Panzer is its activation system and command and controls. Well, not command and control, but the activation system is fundamentally flawed. Number one.
So Panzer is
Yeah.
more old school than old school tactical.
Yeah, and that's not right. I mean, I think Old School Tactical does some very cool things with
Mhm.
activation and the number of activations and the way that losses work and how that impacts the overall scheme of things. And I think it does, and double actions for every unit in turn give makes you think about tactics a lot more, certainly more than Panzer. I mean, Panzer is, you want to shoot tanks, that's cool, right? But you can do that by the ASL as well. So anyway, no,
Not at
that's
the
not a,
same level. You can get really granular with that system. So,
well, you can, but I think ASL is pretty great too
mhm.
on the tank combat. So anyway, beside the
But
point.
yeah, I think what
Um,
Jay said is it. It's light RPG with tactical elements.
yeah, yeah, tactual elements even.
Tactual.
Um, Operation Bollybank. Now, see, I'm excited that that game got nominated because that's a unique system and a unique approach to a very undergamed, a topic we're completely unaware of pretty much in the United States. And it's a cool little solitaire game that I'd never heard of before until I saw the Charlie's list. I'm probably going to go get that game because it looks very, very cool. Uh,
It does.
so why that's the sort of shit that I would like to see in
It's new and unique.
Charlie's, right? That's,
Yeah.
I want to see. They did the right thing with Fate of All, right? That's fantastic, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I'd like to see more of that thoughtful thinking about the Charlies versus just slapping up, Panzer or, some of
The
these
low hanging
systems that
fruit.
have been around forever. Low hanging fruit. GMT needs to win 40% of all the awards. Let's keep them happy because they sponsor us.
Yeah,
That's
but
what it
it's low
feels
hanging
like to
fruit
me.
because it's low hanging fruit because it's
But
popular.
that's not the point. I don't think that's it. An award just because something. Okay,
Yeah,
you're right.
this I'm gonna
No,
I'm
you're
gonna
actually right. If something's super popular, if everyone likes fucking playing Ticket to Ride, they should play Ticket to Ride. God bless them. But I think awards should go to people who are trying to innovate and do something new and different and push the boundaries of our hobby. And whether that's art or mechanics or design. Sicily from the Assault Sicily module should be in here. They should have a design and packaging award. They should win
mm,
that fucking award, right?
they
That,
would, hands
right,
down.
right, hands down, right? Um, Sound of Drums should win it for best graphics and art representation and all the rest of it. That's the sort of stuff that I care about versus slapping some bullshit up on that we've all seen before from some company. Hey, Hexy. Anyway,
So
all right.
I
Mode
don't
awards.
disagree
Oh
with you,
gosh.
Kev. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. I just going to get away from like, oh, gee, it won the most popular.
and that
What
rifles
is,
in the nom, that system is actually a really
yeah,
interesting solitaire
yeah,
system.
yeah,
So
yeah. Oh God, there's more awards. Gee whiz.
so there are more
Yeah.
awards or mode awards actually. Best strategic game. The winner was Burning Banners. That
Uh,
is from Compass Games, and that has been quite a phenomenally well received game. It's done really well for them.
yes, yes.
1 Hour World War II from Worthington Games, Dune War for Arrakis from Simon, um, Europe in Turmoil 2, Interbellum Years from Compass, Red Dust Rebellion from GMT, and Other Side of the Hill from NAC War Games,
And
NAC.
there's only 5,000 copies of Red Dust Rebellion left, so guys, get out there and get a copy. Um, Burning Banners, amazing game. Amazing
Mhm.
game. I
It
watched it
is.
being played. So involved, so interesting.
Well,
Gosh,
I mean, lots of different
crazy.
factions. There's something like
Yeah,
what
Mhm.
6, 7 different factions. They
Yeah.
all
yeah,
play
yeah,
different. They all have their special rules. They have their little areas on the map.
yep,
It's fantasy, but it still feels wargamey enough that it's going to
yep,
attract those war game players anyway.
yep,
I mean, that game was just phenomenal. It was very well
yeah.
Mhm.
done across the
It's
board.
Yeah.
root for grown-ups is what I think it is.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and a bunch of new modules coming out for it too, expansions and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, there you go. Thank God, just say okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of good games in there, and most of them are war game esque, right?
The factions feel thematic. The
Yeah.
Nordic, the Viking-esque faction, they sail better. They get more movement points through the water.
Mhm.
Fits kind of what you would expect historically.
Yeah.
The map was very well done.
Oh, beautiful.
I know it had like kind of a cartoony look to it, but I liked it. I thought it looked really good up there on the table.
But, with all the counters on it, it all kind of worked.
Yeah. It looks really, really, really impressive in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a win we can all agree was well deserved.
Yes.
Best operational game.
And then, the interesting thing is here, it says best strategic game.
Hmm.
Burning Banners wins that one, but it's actually a war game. A 1 hour World War II. That's another one of those quickie strategy games. Dune, Europe, in turmoil, Red Dust Rebellion. Other Side of the Hill, I'm not familiar with that one. I think I do know that one. So all of them actually are strategic games, and the war game beat them. So
Yeah.
it's kind of flipped on that in that one.
Yeah, because the other side of the hill is not a war game.
Yeah. So I mean, it shouldn't be, that shouldn't have been in there. That should have been in a war game category, in a fantasy war game or something.
Yeah, fantasy war game slot. Yeah.
But then you have best operational war game is next, and the winner on that is Thunder on the Mississippi, and that is from MMP. Luzon Race for Baton from MMP also. Beta's Campaign from RBM. Caproto 1917. Italia 1917, same ones we saw before, and Stalingrad Roads also saw that before.
Yeah, that's an odd selection too. Again, I don't have an opinion on any of that. It's all good.
There you go. And then we have best tactical game. Panzer North Africa wins that. Up against that was Rebel Fury, Cowpen 1781, Tattered Flags, and Old School Tactical Volume 4. So again, I think that kind of falls into the same thing. Well, it's Panzer, it wins because it's the Panzer system.
Cool. Did they just realize that they hadn't given given Jim Day an award for Panzer yet? So they decided that now is the time? Or?
I don't know. Well, it was the
Panzer
fans that
won
voted
before.
on it. So, but out of that, the one that gets completely overlooked is Tattered Flags, which is like a little miniatures war game with counters, and it's a fantastic system.
And all innovative, different, unique.
And then best new edition of a previously published game, France 40 wins from GMT. Up against it was Port Arthur Nuts Publishing, Unhappy King Charles from Phalanx, Iron Armor from Compass, and Traces of Hubris from VUCA Simulations. The one glaring one that's missing is where is Danny Parker's game?
Unbelievable.
The Last Gamble. That is not in there. Why not?
Yeah. Was Unhappy King Charles even out when this?
I think it did come out last year. From who did that? Was that Phalanx? Yeah, I think that did come out.
Man,
and of course, Iron Armor. I would have voted for that.
Well, I can see why that one didn't win, though. I mean, I'm not hating on the game, but a lot of people.
It's the best new edition of. It's a best reprint, essentially, is what that category is.
Not disagreeing with that, but it's just the Compass caught a lot of flack for the size of the rule book.
Well,
whether it's warranted
from some people,
whether it's warranted or not, that could have.
I was not the only person. But
the thing is, the size of the rule book. The size of the rule book really should not have an effect on whether it's at least nominated.
No,
it was nominated.
Yeah, whether it wins or not is.
No. I mean, I'd love to.
No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Last Gamble.
Oh,
I was talking about Last Gamble.
Well, I didn't play the Last Gamble, so.
Oh, Last Gamble's amazing. It's the only thing it needs is a spiral bound rule book.
Yes. Same with Iron Armor. That really needed it. A spiral bound.
Best political, social, or economic. I don't care. Carry on.
Tell us what you really
think.
I'm
sorry.
Red Dust Rebellion. Red Dust Rebellion to try to help push someone who was out of the warehouse. GMT.
Get those 5,000 copies sold, baby. Let's go.
Arabian Struggle from Catastrophe Games. Crisis 1914 from Worthington. Europe in Turmoil 2 in its correct category from Compass, and Republic Struggle from NAC War Games. So Red Dust Rebellion wins that one. Then we have Best Solitaire or Cooperative Game. I, Napoleon Queen of the Skies wins from GMT. That's how I'm going to always refer to it now. Thanks, Joe. That was a good one. Atlantic Sentinels was up there. Manila, the Savage Streets. Atlantic Sentinels from Compass. Manila, the Savage Streets from Revolution. Rome Inc. That is from Against the Odds magazine, issue number 61. Viva Mexico, Mexican Revolution from White Dog Games, and Wolfpack, North Atlantic Convoy Struggles from GMT Games. So
Atlantic Sentinels, it had some issues when it released. It had some rule book issues that held it back.
see, the problem I would argue counter to that. I would say they're so inclusive that they're too big, and that's why they're too big, because they're too inclusive. They include all of the information.
Well,
Too
think
much.
about how bad war game companies are suffering from the up and coming generations who suffer from TikTok brain, and everything has to be in short 5-minute segments or they can't process it.
5 minutes,
Well,
geez, that's like Gone with the Wind for some of these people.
Well, you know what? It sucks to be them.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I don't know any of these.
What's interesting, Kev? Tell us what's interesting.
Oh, shut up, Nick.
Shut up, he's gonna get to it.
I was waiting.
There's solitaire. I don't know hardly any of these games.
Atlantic Sentinels. That's the one that's
Atlantic
kind of like
Sentinels, that was
Silent
fun.
Victory.
Yeah.
It you were controlling a fleet, if I remember right, in that one. Fleet of
Atlantic Sentinels,
destroyers.
yeah, you're doing a convoy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
That's
Rome 2 Inc.
Yeah.
That's about it. None of the others. I know I've heard of Wolfpack, but whatever. Okay.
Funny thing, when Greg was designing that game, he was trying to come up with a title, and we were talking about it over texting. He was saying all these things, and I says, "Hey, I got a title for you, Atlantic Sentinels." He's like, "Dude, I love it. I'm going to call it that."
Oh, that's awesome. So you get credit. You get credit?
Yeah, I get a credit. I get like a penny.
No,
Best
the game wasn't.
hypothetical game. That's actually the second game I've named. But
It wasn't bad, but it was like a B-level game in that genre, right? So it just wasn't the best. It was kind of like equivalent to like the Zeppelin version that he put out. It just wasn't top tier. It was good. It's worth playing, but the top tier is like American Tank Ace, and it wasn't as good as American Tank Ace.
Exactly.
Western Front Ace was really good, like Western Front Ace, but Atlantic Sentinels just didn't reach to that level.
it's also a different interest group entirely, because not everybody's going to be into the convoys as much as they might think.
It was a
Whereas
little
Air,
fiddly.
Everyone is, well, that too, but I mean, the subject matter is what matters a lot to a lot of people. So air games in that regard, everybody loves air games.
Yeah, you've got your aircraft, or if you've got a sub and you're controlling your sub and you're out there trying to sink ships, that's going to capture a lot of attentions. But when you've got a convoy that you're worrying about, it doesn't hit the same. I mean, they play very similar, but to me, that one just didn't hit as well.
And then we have the best hypothetical game. Winner is Next War Iran, and that was even prior to this past couple weeks.
That's all.
So, yep, that was from Mitch Land, GMT Games, and then we had Close the Atlantic World War III, which is from Blue Panther. Not familiar with that one, but I gotta have to check that out now. Enemies at the Gates from Compass, and Invasion of Malta from Legion War Games.
I'm sorry, but the Next War series, it's just, I don't think it's cost effective anymore.
Well, a lot of things have changed as they've.
You used to be able to get a Next War game for like $70 to $80, and now they're nowhere near that. Right?
What are you talking about?
Next War. What was it? Next War Poland I got for like $75 at my local game store. But the Next War series, for the amount of content you get in the box, GMT is just, they're pricing themselves, I think, out of the market right now with some of the stuff that they're.
Gotta pay two designers, man.
What's that?
Gotta pay two designers.
Well, they can split the profits. They each get half as much, or one kills the other.
Next war, Poland is 103. Wow.
See, that's gone up.
It's gone up, and all the games have gone up in price.
And I think GMT's making a mistake. They're jumping their prices up, and people are already at a premium. They're already at the edge now, right? Yeah. I know my gaming budget is cut almost to the bone as it is, and I know I'm not the only one. Everyone's like that. And when GMT's like, okay, well, we're going to raise our prices, you're just saying, well, I'm going to spend my money with someone else who I can get more game for my dollar.
Or get the game.
Are you saying you're not buying the You're not buying a gift card and not using it to help them?
Oh, if you had a choice between like Next War or something like Assault Sicily 43, with the
Yeah.
amount of replay and game that I can get out of that box, I can
Yeah.
get far more bang for my buck for my gaming dollar for something like Assault.
So Danny, tell me that you are you're dictating to your phone or to your computer what you're saying, because I don't know what "kill the Tsar of Russia" means. Did you mean the Tsar of Russia?
What happened? We lost you.
Am I not here?
How did I lose my sound?
I lost my sound earlier.
You lost your sound. Is it back?
Back
Can
now.
you not hear me?
Kev, can you hear us? Nope. It's got to be something
Uh-oh.
with the program because I lost mine.
I'm going to leave and come back. Stand by.
Okay.
Bye, Kev. You'll
He's
be
coming
missed.
back.
Go hug
No,
your boyfriend.
Kev lost sound. I thought
It's got to
the
be something.
issue was.
It's got to be something with the program, dude. It did the same thing to me like half hour ago.
Hmm.
Like both of you guys suddenly just went silent. I had to fiddle with it to get it to come back.
We were just, talking.
Really? I can see when you hit the mute button.
I know.
All right, what's our next category?
So the next category is Best Wargaming Magazine. Winner was C3I.
Of course.
Up for consideration was C3. Along with C3I was Strategy and Tactics, War Diary, Against the Odds, and Vivictus. And
I like
the
War
interesting
Diary.
thing, War Diary is fantastic. It's one of the best wargaming magazines out there, if not the best. And stay tuned because there's going to be a preview of the next issue of War Diary magazine. I'll be doing that later this week. But the winner is C3I.
They
again.
win every year.
Yeah, and to me, number one, they're missing out on Paper Wars from Compass Games. But aside from that, C3I, and this is nothing against the magazine, but it keeps winning, and it produces one magazine and game per year.
Right.
These other ones, all of them, Strategy and Tactics, War Diary, they have
I thought
multiple
C3I
issues.
did like 2 to 3 a year.
No, they do one.
Did they
No.
cut back?
They've generally been one, sometimes two
Okay.
in the
I
same
don't know
year.
they've done two in a long
Well, I
time.
think there might be like two in the same year. Like if they release one like early January and then one late December or something like that. But they're generally one magazine a year because it's a magazine with a game and then a lot of extras for GMT's games.
But what pisses me off
as
is
well
they
as
put those correction
counters.
counters in there, right?
Well, that's the errata counters and stuff like that. going
No,
on there.
don't put it in something that's behind a paywall. If you've got an errata counter for a game that I have purchased from you, you send it to me, or at least put
It
it up.
doesn't
as a
really matter
JPEG.
anymore because after this edition, we're not going to see any more soon.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's my complaint with that one winning every time, but that is just purely popularity. And there's nothing again, it's nothing against the magazine. I think C3I is a great magazine, has a lot of great games that it's put out over the years. When it comes to war game magazines, I think it's fine. War Diary does not put out games with the magazine, although this one will have a game with it this month. But
Oh, really?
games aside, yeah, it's Iwo Jima Light from Neville War Games.
And it's
Or
coming
Nemo-
with War
Nemo
Diary?
It's coming with War Diary.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look forward to that.
Yeah.
I like that little
So-
standard subscription to War Diary. It's, I've got a huge
Mhm.
stack of them on the back of my toilet for reading material. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one.
Oh, I know. So, and this is true too. Jonathan said it's released when they have enough content to make up an issue, which generally tends to be once a year. Now,
Right.
this one has obviously been delayed for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
for more than one obvious reason. So this is a different. This issue that's coming out is a different thing entirely than previous years. But that's my biggest hang up with C3I constantly winning. It's like it's winning only on name recognition, popularity versus the quality content. Versus the
Yeah,
other
well, it kind of
magazines.
makes me wonder about Compass Games.
Why aren't they in there?
Why isn't it get nominated number one? But number two, how many people actually buy that magazine? If it's because if we're talking about popularity contests, you would think they keep publishing the magazine. Why isn't it getting nominated? Right?
Yeah. Let's
They
see
have to be
here.
making
I
a
got to
profit
catch
on
back
it.
up on these.
But War Diary is. Well, I know you probably talked about it while I was gone, but War Diary is hands down taken the mantle from Nuts Publishing, Battles Magazine, as the best war game magazine until Nuts decide to do something about publishing again.
Hmm.
No
So I'm just catching
refunds.
up on comments.
No refunds and gift cards, exactly.
I had to call most of my P500s from GMT after they cry poverty. Their shipping is absurd to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Fango, this is why I hate getting kicked out or dropping out. It's because I end up sitting down the bottom like losing Nate, you know?
No, they're
In the
they're
next
not
Iron
wrong.
Napoleon, he mans a ball turret in a B-17G.
I've said the same thing about GMT numerous times. It should not be cheaper for me to not back their game on P500 and instead just order it from Miniature Market, and I get it
Right.
cheaper, I get it
Right.
faster, and it's less shipping cost. It's $5 shipping cost for Miniature Market versus whatever the hell 20-25 they're charging now. It's like your P500 customers need to be getting the best price on your game. Period. If you want to
Yeah.
charge more after, fine, but P500, they need to get the best price. It should not be cheaper for them to get it from a third party
I agree.
than to
I
do the
agree.
P500.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things one of the main reasons why I vote that I order P500s is so that arguably I can get it reasonably soon after it comes out, right? So that's the otherwise, waiting for it to hit Miniature Market. It's I think they do it after all of the P500s have been shipped.
Yeah, it takes about a month and a half to 2 months
Yeah,
to get out there to Miniature Market.
you kind of lose the value of the currency of a new release, right? Although
Not really. I mean, if you wanted to play it and you don't want to be on the shiny new object and then you can take it and sell it or give it away or something like that. If you just want the game and you're going to have it, keep it long term, then you can wait.
I mean, it really doesn't matter if you have to wait, though, because I'm always weeks behind on what I've got to cover. I haven't picked the game that I'm covering in years. So it doesn't matter to me if it's a week, month, 2 months later.
So then we have the Capstone Awards. We're still going. These are singular awards for individual or achievement granted annually. Redmond A. Simonson Memorial Award for Outstanding Presentation. The winner goes to Burning Banners, which I think we all agree 100% on that one.
Yeah.
The competitors were Justin Robin Hood from GMT, I Napoleon, Queen of the Skies, Winner's Victory, which is a beautiful game. Undaunted 2200 Callisto from.
Oh, those cards are awesome on that game.
Mm-hmm. Then we have the James F. Dunnigan Award for Playability and Design. Winner is this little known guy named Mark Herman. He was up against Joe Malkowski, Herman Letman, Ted Racer, and Pascal Tupi. Then we had the Chad Jensen Memorial Breakthrough Designer Award. Winner was Carlos Diaz. Narvez for Tanto Manta. We had Valentin Crespil, Andy Lokes, and Eve Warg for Gettysburg in Time for Heroes. Severio Spagnoli, Matthew Johnson, Corey Graham, and Ahmad Matthews for Vijay Nagara. And then we had Clint Warren Davey for 1 Hour World War II. Then the next one is Charles S. Roberts Game of the Year winner, or the Game of the Year Award. The winner was Panzer North Africa. No shock, because we were talking about that before. It's just winning everything. Although I'm surprised it beat out I Napoleon Queen of the Skies.
Wow. What a load of total just wow.
But at least it's a war game.
I mean,
there is that. There is that.
There is a benefit there.
Yes. So Panzer North Africa wins. I was up against I Napoleon, Queen of the Skies, and Rebel Fury, Tattered Flags, and Thunder on the Mississippi.
Right. Now I'm going to Board Game Geek to see how many people have actually supported and posted about Panzer North Africa. This is just, Good grief.
And that is the end of the awards. We did have new inductees into the Charles S. Roberts Wargaming Hall of Fame. Frederick Bay, for his long career of varied designs, including multiple CSR nominations and helping lead a wargaming renaissance in Europe. Samuel Craig Taylor, for his innovative wargame designs, which have stood the test of time and includes a number of enduring classics. And of course, Danny Parker, for his lifetime of scholarship and design work within one of Wargame's most popular competitive topics, but they don't nominate his fucking game.
Hey, we'd like to induct you into the Hall of Fame, but fuck you, you're not getting an award.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Fabulous. Thanks for playing.
And no one caught that. No one said, wait a minute, we're nominating him for
Well,
this,
of course
but
they
then we
wouldn't.
didn't even put his game in.
Look at some of the people on that friggin'.
They should have a category for best wargame reviewer.
Yes, Last Gamble was a reprint, Mike, but there was a best reprint
There's
category.
a category, and also you could have. Is there an art thing as well somewhere?
Yeah, there was, well,
Yeah,
the presentation.
You
Yeah,
could
the
have won presentation.
It could have, but Mike,
Fantastic presentation.
the category is best new edition of a previously published game, which is a fancy way of saying best reprint.
Yep.
Yes, it was left out of the best reprint, which is like such a gross, disgusting thing that it's like, how do you not nominate that? You know, it's like that was a major fuck up. Put it that way.
But you know, in fairness, Hitler's Last Gamble, the original game, was a complete shit show, right? I mean, it was a mostly broken game, relatively compared to what we see today. Last Gamble is by far and away the best Bulge game I've ever played.
Which actually triples the value of why it should have been nominated and won.
Yeah, but I just think there's probably a lot of negative history that's going on by my point.
Yeah, it could be. Or it could just be, again, the same thing it seems to be evolving, which is name recognition. You know, France 40 was a Simonich game, and everybody knows the 40 series from Mark. Yeah. It's a phenomenal series. Yeah. And I think everybody just sees, oh, it's a Simonich 40 system. I'm voting for that because we know that.
Oh yeah, you've got the weight of purchasing behind it.
Yeah.
Right?
Danny's game could have been nominated in a couple categories.
Yeah.
So some omissions seem by design. Paul, that could be the case, but I can't speak to that. Gimpy could speak to it more than I could, but and then of course is the last Gamble the best Bulge game ever made? It won't be the last Bulge game ever made.
No, it won't be the last one, but it's up there for me. It's
look it wasn't excluded for anything like that. I just never played the Last Gamble, so
a lot of people didn't play any of the other games. Didn't stop them from voting on those.
Up to you.
I can only recommend what I have experience with.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, there's something to be said as folks like us that play and post about games. There's something to be said for instance, me grabbing the rule book and giving something a quick read.
Mm-hmm.
I can form some fundamental opinions about a game. I can't do a review, and that will probably color how I would vote on something. But I certainly wouldn't blindly vote for these games unless I'd at least had a look at the web page or something like that, and made have some informed choice between the stack of games that you've got to vote against. There's some good comments coming in. Someone said Panzer North Africa is a reprint too, which technically, it is.
I don't hold to the conspiracy or agenda stuff for these rewards. I just think they aren't doing a good enough job, not enough due diligence.
No, well, there's that too. That as well.
Yes. Then we get, there should be an award for best pre-owned games. Greetings from Iowa City. That's where he's at now. The most innovative game. There was no innovative war game with this last award.
It's a good question though.
you want to play a good bulge game, then you cannot go wrong with The Last Gamble.
Yeah.
Because not only is the game fantastic, which also is a great 5-part learn to play series as well. I'll just throw that out there. But
Yeah, you do.
you have an amazing historical book that comes with it.
Yep.
Plus, Danny has more than one book on the bulge that you could read if you want to get more, background information that you're going to see in that game.
Yeah.
So
And there's extra stuff coming in Paper Wars as well for even more
Yes.
content.
yeah, and no, it did not come out too long ago that it was simply forgotten. It came out last early summer, about a year ago this time,
Yeah.
something like May or something like that.
Yeah. I recall playing a short scenario of it, and then I set up and played, the high watermark. So,
Yeah, there's a period of time where you talked about it a lot.
well,
Yeah.
that's kind of, when you play games like I do, son, that's how it works. What else?
Trying to remember what the amount of scenarios was in the Last Gamble here.
That's a really good question. But the while you're looking that up, the key is that there are a swag of optional rules,
Mhm.
what if rules that add to replay value more significantly than I've seen with any other bulge game as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a huge bulge war game fan anyway, but it's really, really good. I like it more than RDM44, better than Time for Trumpets. I've yet to play the full campaign of the last Blitzkrieg, but once I do that, it'll be between that and Iron Tide.
Have you played Enemy Action Arden?
I have piddled with that. I've played a handful of turns, and it is not my cup of tea, which you know.
But you didn't like it because of the chip pull mechanic.
Yeah, because it's bullshit. Yeah.
No, it's not. I love that chip.
Oh, it's 3 games in one, and it's got dots everywhere.
No, it's
You have
not
to
about
throw
the
a
3
bunch
games
of
in
chips
one.
in a bucket and pick out your result.
By making
Moving
smart
on.
military choices, by having combined arms,
I'm
by having
surprised
artillery.
you like that game. It doesn't have custom dice.
It has
true,
no
it does
dice. It's
not.
all chit. And if you think about it, the 20, 40 chits, whatever you got in there, are effectively custom dice.
Yeah, whatever.
So yes, it has custom dice, which makes it awesome.
So tedious.
And
I
then
saw
we have
that long ago, my friend.
quick shout out for E-Hassle, finally came out the other day. Then we have Arden 2. Is that worth looking at?
Yeah. I mean, look, if you want a simple look at the bulge,
Yeah.
yes.
Simple. Yeah,
Get it on sale.
Get it on sale. You get it on the table, and you'll have fun with it.
Yeah, it has some issues of folks that get a little frustrated with it because it doesn't represent history very well, but that's what the SCS system is.
So
One
there we
gentleman.
go. But
Couple of
so yeah, I
douche
mean,
canoes.
there we have it. I mean, the ones that kind of burned my ass the most was I Napoleon even being nominated. It's not a war game at all, and it's in the war game category and beats actual war games. It's like, what the fuck?
But
And
do
then
you agree the same for Purple Haze then?
yeah, Purple Haze. I don't think it should have been in there, but it had Purple Haze. In fairness, Purple Haze has more of an argument as being a war game than I Napoleon Queen of the Skies does. I mean, that is not a war game.
Yep.
In any way, shape, or form. It's even questionable how much of a game it is because how many decisions are you making? Is it more of a narrative experience or a narrative guided tour?
Right.
A lot of these games, I'm not picking on I Napoleon alone because B-17 Queen of the Skies, that's another one of those. Roll and it tells you the story.
That game was what, from the 1970s? That was one of the first games.
People, I mean, it's a hugely popular game, and it's what spawned all these
created
other
a
ones.
genre.
Yeah, and
that
it
is
spawned all
very
these other
popular
ones.
now.
Yeah.
And there are people who love that.
That
Yeah.
Craig Smith makes his living off of.
But his games have decisions.
Most of his
these
games
other
have
ones
decisions.
have no decisions.
There's
Other
really
than which
nothing
dice you're
do
gonna roll.
other than roll the dice for the AI, right? That's what you're doing with those games.
Well,
Greg's games give you some agency, right?
That is
There-
not true. As
No.
4 War Gamers, you get 5 opinions. I'd say you probably get about 8 or 9 opinions.
Yeah, it's probably right there, actually.
I would say that that would be a very good choice, Nordic.
Yeah, you won't regret it, man. I mean, it's the only quibble I have with it is the setup shots are not done in a manner that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's great.
In fairness, you have to call Napoleon Queen of the Skies in honor of Stuka Joe because he is the one who created that.
Yeah, that is
He
awesome.
said Queen of the Skies, and I'm just like, this is it. I'm permanently calling it that.
Is it
So-
worth the 120 plus shipping?
For
Last gamble.
I think so. Or you
Yeah,
can wait for the end of the
sale,
year
dude.
sale.
Wait for the Compass sale and get it,
Yeah.
or buy it secondhand.
Yeah, but they're not going to have that copy around much longer. They're going to,
No,
well, they'll do
no,
a sale for Christmas, won't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they always do their end of the year sale.
You think they're
You'll
going to
get
put the last
30%
gamble
off.
on it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll wait around and see if they drop it. I want the last gamble. 120 is a hard sell to the missus right now.
Doesn't she know who you are?
No, nor does she care.
Danny said he got it shipped on Prime for 101.
Oh, no shit.
So
That's the way to go. Miniature
Mhm.
Market actually is the one I usually check because they usually have the good prices on it.
but yeah, that's that. But again, it goes back to I Napoleon Queen of the Skies, and then of course we had no Danny Parker, no Last Gamble, which is like
Yeah. The
How did that happen?
magazines, but and
the
there's also-
magazine. But the kicker on the Danny Parker one is that he does not get his game does not get nominated for best reprint, but he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's like, how do you do that? I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's
but did
where
you
my-
see the names of who's in the jury for the Hall of Fame?
no.
Because one
Is
of
it
them
in there?
doesn't make sense to me.
Is it in there?
Yeah, it's at the very bottom, right before the list.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is this it? Board? Yeah, as determined by the Hall of Fame jury: Robert Carroll, Brent Guillory, Dan Pancaldi, and Gary Mengel.
Dang.
Because
So-
he's not on the committee.
And he's not a war gamer. What the? I mean, that's amazing. And I spelled his name wrong. Isn't it Pancaldi?
You're right. They did. Dan Pancaldi. It's Pancaldi.
I spelled his name wrong. So much respect earned.
Oh, there you go. Noble Knight has Last Gamble for 99.
Good grief! Well,
you've
that's
got-
a
If
used
you've
copy.
if you got credit.
I don't have credit with Noble Knight.
Oh, you don't have any credit with them? Okay. I didn't know if you had traded in anything to get store credit or.
No, because they offer you like $5. There was a guy talking about it on Facebook the other day. He was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about selling like 8 games. I priced them out with Noble Knight, and they offered me $70 for all of them."
Yeah. They definitely, because I gotta sell a bunch. I have to call more games because just don't have space.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call a bunch of games, and one of them, and if I offered this to them, they probably say, "Oh, we'll give you $5 for it." It's like, no, you're not taking less than 60 miles first echelon for $5.
Oh wow.
You can fuck right off with that.
But do you get what I'm saying? Like, I need to shrink my collection down, and then I start looking at it, and I'm like, I don't want to sell that. I couldn't replace it. I'm not going to play it, and some of them I'm not even going to open. Like I've got Leathernecks and the expansion for it.
Mm.
The expansion for it's still in shrink, and now I don't want to take it out of shrink because now it's a collector's item.
Just
Play
play him, dude.
Play it, dude.
Yeah,
Play it.
Play
How
him.
do you not play it? How do you not play that game? If I get a good deal on that game, I'm buying it and playing it.
I've got
Because it's
Ambush
Leatherneck.
and all the expansions for Ambush. And I'm like, well, I'll just
Yeah.
play Ambush.
And play Leatherneck. Of all of them, play Leather.
Yeah.
I can
Oh,
play
yeah.
the base game, but I can't play the expansion because it's
You
still
can
in
play the
shrink.
expansion. There's this thing called the knife. You just slide it right across the thing. You open it up, and boom.
Every time I've thought about doing it, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, but I could hold on to this, and one day it might be worth something I could sell for the
Something.
kids.
What you know what's going to happen, dude? Someone's going to get the rights to that thing and redo it, and you're done. Right?
Yes.
I always think about
That
it
will
like I could
definitely
hold on
play
to
it.
it.
Play it or sell it. Right? Just
Mhm.
none of this nostalgia nonsense. I'm cleaning house, but then again, I'm older than you, so I've sold like $1,700 worth of games in the last 2 weeks.
Well, some of them I do find myself regretting. Like, wish I had held on
Regret,
to it.
regrets are for
Well,
pussies. I knew
there
him.
was a game that I was looking for, and I found a copy of it for $75.
Which one? Oh, Downtown. You got a copy of Downtown. How about that?
Look at the quality.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
It's unpunched. I guess I should hold on to it and flip it for $300.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you get 150 for it.
I'll say, hey, Noble Knight, how much will you give me for it? I'll give you $750. Oh, $750? $7.50, but they'll sell it for $750.
Noble
Yeah.
Knight could do so much better if they would charge realistic prices and give people a fair price as a trade-in value.
Well, their idea of fair price is to give you store credit.
Well, I wouldn't mind store credit if it was at least fair store credit, but it's not a fair amount there either, especially considering how much they charge.
Yeah, yeah. See, I've been wanting Downtown for a long time because I have Red Storm, and I'm really not a huge Air War guy, but because the downtown system is really well regarded, and Red Storm is definitely right up my alley. I just haven't sat down and played with it yet, and I was like, this is the same. It's the same family. So I was like, it's never going to get reprinted. So if I ever find a copy, I'm grabbing it. And somebody posted a copy, and I think I noticed it like 3 or 4 minutes after it was posted. So I said, I'll take Downtown. And they were like, okay, sold. Give me your PayPal.
I thought Kev was going to grab a copy of it. Looked like he had one on his shelf.
What's that?
I thought you were going to grab a copy. I thought you had a copy of it yourself.
Which one?
Downtown. The most.
No, I don't. No, I have Lucid Victory, and I've tried to sell it twice and can't get rid of it. So I was replying to Nordic's message. I said I sold it, but I actually have a copy of it.
Well, if anybody is looking for
Oh, I've got Chariots of Fire.
What?
Yeah,
Chariots of Fire?
I think so. I'd have to look.
If anybody is looking for, less than 60 miles first echelon, let me know, because I am going to be selling that one. So
the one I want to
offer it to the crowd here first
is the Great Battles of History War Galley. That's the one I'm missing from Great Battles of History.
Which one?
Is it Galley or is it War Galley?
Oh, Galley, War Galley. Yeah, dude.
I've got almost everything. I think I've got everything else. Devil's Horseman, Alexander, Chariots of Fire.
I'd be wary, man. It's not fun. It's not great fun. But if you want to be a completist, it's cool.
Consim Market. I don't look on Consim Market very often. I pay $56 for it. Last I saw,
well, if you were on Consim Market, you would have caught that.
Yeah, I mean, you need the expansion as well. And there's a set of rules on BGG you need to get. That is a clear, concise 2-pager summary that will make your life a lot easier, because the rule book is not good.
Well, I've always liked ship type games like the Flying Colors.
Okay. Well, then yeah, but it's all the ships are adjacent to each other, and they move, they move into each other and try and ram each other.
Yeah.
It's really kind of.
Well, that's what they did.
But you knock yourself out. Have a great time with it.
I mean, you're not going to have you're not necessarily doing like you do like in Flying Colors. You're not working weather gauge and trying to get broadsides on people and stuff.
Well, Flying Colors
like
isn't
wooden
that
ships
fun.
and Iron Man is 10 times the game.
I like Black Powder, the miniatures version. You got the little ships, miniatures for all the third rates, first rates, and all that good stuff. Seriously, just check it out. It's by Warlord Games.
We'll definitely have to check that one out. So, anybody else have any closing thoughts on the Charlies in the audience or amongst us?
No, I don't. But
Yes.
Have we discussed what we're playing or doing?
No, we have not gotten into that yet. That's what we'll close out with.
What?
Yeah,
I know Princess was supposed to leave 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. He's behind the 8-ball here. So we'll start off with Kev, being that you brought it up.
Yeah, because I have a whole lot to talk about. I could talk for 20 minutes about what I'm doing. Oh, sorry, Nate. Why don't I let Nate go?
He disappeared.
Nate, why don't you go first? Tell us what you're up to.
I do realize I could just hit escape and just jump off. I'm being polite now.
I'm gonna mute him.
I've got a few left to cover. I've got the Assault Premisal Bridge I was talking about. Got an Anna Dark Wood that I'm going to be getting to the table. The Armored Knights Case Blue. And there's a print and play game that someone sent to me called Goliath that I actually printed up and painted my own little miniature to use with the game. Give it that extra little zing. Fun little game called Goliath. I'm not sure how much he charges for it, but I know the print and play ones, they don't charge too much, like 10-15 bucks for those games. And there was some other stuff that I had to cover that I can't remember off the top of my head. And I'll remember after I'm done. Oh, I did just start the huge game of World at War 85, that 8-mapper. Scenario 21.
Yes.
Was it Operation Red Fury, I think is what that one's called. And I had to redo the way I'm filming it and just do it like an after action report, because if I tried doing it like I'm actually playing it, it would take me 100 videos to film the damn thing. So I've sped that up a lot, but that one caught a whole lot of interest. So I've got some more videos coming off from that. Oh, just to mention it, Broken Arrow finally released from Slithering Games. So for those
Yeah,
of you
and then
guys,
I heard like immediately after, which I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. And then immediately after, everybody was complaining about one thing, and I was like, oh, that's a big no-no.
what was the
No
one
save
thing?
game.
Yeah.
No save game.
So I did initial impressions, and I'm going to do a follow-on full review for it. The game itself is quite good. It's very good, and it actually has a campaign with narrative and that single player component that Warner was missing. That's really great. But releasing in this day and age without the ability to save during your game, your mission, is just stupid. Like, why do you not have that in there from moment one? If they had focused on the single player element of the game, it would have gave them an advantage and something that set them apart from games like Warno. And instead, they tried to release with a decent single player and a decent multiplayer. It's like you're splitting hairs.
Because everyone's obsessed with multiplayer. Everyone, they think every gamer out there is a multiplayer person. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people don't even touch multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't touch the multiplayer of it. There's plenty of people who are competitive, but right now they can't compete with Warno when it comes to the multiplayer. They can after a while, after the game's been released, all the bugs are ironed out, they've got an expansion or two released. Okay. Yeah, you cannot save during the game. So let's say you're playing a campaign, and these missions take a while. They take at least an hour, right? Depending on the mission, can be longer. The one I recorded the other day took me like 86 minutes. You can't save, which means if something comes up and you got to get up, or your kids need you or whatever, unless you just pause it and leave your computer running, you just have to restart the mission. And it's the same way with the single player versus the AI. And on top of that, you can't have friendly AI. So you can do skirmish mode, single player, 5-on-5, except you can't do any AI friendlies on your side. You can only do yourself against the AI and any friends you want to bring in. And that was another misstep on their part. There's really no reason that the AI can't be assigned to your
So you're
team.
playing co-op against bots.
Yes. And
which is fine.
I do that. I do that in Warner all the time. I'll sit there and just play it out and add in a bunch of friendly AI and computer AI. But you can't do that in Broken Arrow. And I'm like, why? There's nothing that's missing. The AI is already there. It already knows how to take objectives and fight you and flank out and do all this stuff. It's already doing that fine. So why can't it just do that on my team? And there's really no reason for it. That, and they need more units. They've got roughly a third of the units that Warno has available. Warno's set in the 80s. This one is modern day, so there's some differences, but it's close enough. I mean, you still got Abrams and Bradleys and all the same type vehicles in there. So they need to add more vehicles and units and types to the game, but that will come with expansions. So they had a rough launch. Had they waited a couple months and ironed this out, people would have been a lot happier. But the game is really good. So if you're into Warno, you really should get Broken Arrow. It's great. They just need to fix this crap.
And one last comment about the Charlies. Robert O says, in spite of the flaws, I think the Charlies are important to the hobby, and I'm glad the tradition continues. Which I agree with. And I think, just like Kev, I don't disagree with that either, but system categories are flawed, and that definitely needs you must separate war games from strategy games. They need to be separated
Yep.
to because what you're doing is the thing is you're doing a disservice to both games. Um, you had all those ones where you had the war game, Burning Banners beat all the other ones. It's like, well, Burning Banners should have been in its own against its own type of games, war games. So that way, one of the other strategy games could have won the strategy game title. In that regard. So you're shortchanging both games. So that's just my opinion on that. And that has already been raised and shot down. So done.
Yeah. What do we know? We're mere mortals. We're not.
I
Gonna hit
actually
PC.
just got that on the last war game sale.
Nice.
They had it on sale for like $15, and I picked it up because I know Mo really liked it. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and play it yet, but I hope to get into that one soon.
I haven't played that in months. I gotta pull it. I haven't played much, computer wargaming in months.
Is it co-op or is it just single player?
I think it's just single player now. They may have some co-op or multiplayer in the future. I'm not sure, but that would be really fun to
Yeah, if
play.
we could do multiplayer on that, that'd be a good thing to record.
Yeah. And one last Charlie's comment. I have a late entry to the Charlies. I nominate Banish all their turds for the best kindling category, guaranteed to go up in flames upon first light.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so brutal. I mean, when GMT drops a turd, it's usually a really big one. They don't do anything by halves. When they slip through the cracks, it's nasty.
They drop the moat, mother of all turds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I'm grateful for the Charlie's other big game awards have a single war game category and something like Arcs takes it out. That's true. And that's why like the BGG awards don't count because that's really just for popularity. That's 100% a popularity contest for, hobby gamers. So, but over to you, Kev. What do you got?
Yeah,
coming up
real
next?
quick. No, and so I'll try and be succinct. So, recent plays. Most Fearful Sacrifice, I think, was the last time I was on with you guys. Then, since then, North Africa 41, Next War Iran, Spring Prelude, which I think was just amazing from Compass Games. I was blown away by that. Did a Heroes of Normandy session. I've got trying to do some write-ups on that just from a narrative perspective. And then Hell's Highway, the old VG Victory Games title, I've got that set up. I'm confused about the rules on combat, so I don't know what's going on. Either my brain is broken or I'm stupid or both. So we're going to try and work that out the next 24 hours. Otherwise, getting packed up. I've got this being set up now, Pacific War. And I'm just doing I'm trying to find something that I can play that will allow me to stop at a reasonable time because we've got allegedly Case Blue from Grognard Sims coming in, and then we've got Chickamauga coming in from Flying Pig, and then Under an Iron Sky coming in soon as well. So I'm trying to keep my table space available so I can put these down as soon as they roll in. And I had started to try and set up Death Ride Salerno, 2 modules. It was 4, 8, 12, 16 maps, 16, 11 by 17 maps. And my morale roll failed. So I packed it up because I don't think I would get enough done before these other titles turned up. So that's what's going on. And tune into my shorts because apparently they're fabulous.
At least you didn't say get into my shorts.
Get into my shorts, boys.
Rocket Chickamauga, that is definitely looking interesting. So hopefully be seeing that soon as well. And then I just have not had time to do any videos on the stuff I was working on before, where I was talking about Night Fighter Command and then Trench Raid. I still have to get around to those. I just haven't had time to.
Oh,
and
yeah. So Trench Raid, I mean, I ordered that. I'm waiting on that to come too. So
that is another really fun game. I'm telling you, if you guys like a narrative, a solo game that creates a new narrative every time due to the variability of the setup, which there's really no setup It's really straightforward. You set
Yeah,
up the game and then you discover what's on the battlefield as you go
that's
across.
awesome. I'm super psyched for it. Are they
Yeah,
shipping it yet? Is it shipping?
not yet, but it should be very soon. It should be soon. So that one is definitely one to get hold of, in my opinion. It's a really strong game. It's a lot of fun, and they are going to have a Tunnel Rats edition of it. They're going to be doing Tunnel
Oh,
Rats of
really?
Vietnam using that same system.
No
Because
shit.
I had said that, I suggested, and they says that's funny because she's already designing a
Oh,
Tunnel
that's
Rats game
awesome.
for it.
My
So I was like,
grandfather was a
awesome,
tunnel rat in
really
yeah, in Vietnam. He was one of the
nice.
tunnel rats. So
Nice, because this system just is it really lends itself to that. So, you can even kind of structure some of the tunnels to a degree,
mhm.
in a way with certain tiles. Like maybe you exclude some tiles and have not tiles, but counters, and have certain counters for certain scenarios if you're trying to create a tunnel system. And even better would be if you have a big enough board for it, you could have a series of scenarios set in the Ku Chi tunnels, and then as you go through one part, you leave it up. And then for the second scenario, you continue on and you just kind of build out the tunnel system as you explore each different scenario. Like you get to a certain point, which is your objective point, and then you leave everything on the map, and then you go to the next part. You create the rest of the tunnel, leave that. Same thing for the third. You can even make it into 3 or 4 or 5 scenarios if you wanted to, if you have the board size for it.
Well, I like your idea about putting all the counters on the board for trench raid and just
You can do that too. Yeah, put them
yeah,
all out there and
taking the
just flip them
rolling out
over as
of
you
it.
go.
Because that's
Yeah,
the one thing that really slows you down. So if you can just put them all out,
kind of a
find it
little
as you
bit,
go.
but you get into a rhythm. Those types you can get into a rhythm. You're like, okay, I did this. Okay, boom, boom. I got to roll, and then okay, I'm just throwing this. You just have the counters right there, and you just grab them, put them out there. It's like open, open. Okay, boom, and then I got to put whatever here,
Yeah.
barbed wire, or whatever, and then you just move through. So you
Right,
know,
right.
because you're only looking at and well, not looking like the one scenario when you're going straight across, you're only looking one direction. So you don't care what's on either side. You're putting it out there, but because on your way back, you can go any direction you want. But when you're going on that one mission straight across, you're staying in a straight line. The rest of the time, you're moving as you go. Another part of the thing is you have total agency as to what direction you go.
Yeah.
So,
That's cool.
yeah.
That's very cool. That sounds interesting. Nordic made a good point that Army Group North is going to ship
Yes.
July, August as well, which is another big one that I will be wanting to get to the table. I've not played that module yet, so anyway,
Let me see here. I got to catch up. Where was that? I'm scrolling back up to the top.
he's 9:21 p.m.
Okay.
Waiting on Miracle at Dunkirk and AGN.
No work has been done on that because I've been sidetracked with other stuff. I haven't gotten to that. Miracle at Dunkirk, Army Group North, and Gimpy's stepfather was a combat medic with the Marines. Corpsman
Yeah,
is
my
what we
family
call
took
him.
a beating during Vietnam. One of my uncles actually flew F4s. He got shot down
Mm,
during Vietnam.
wow. So let's see. Do we have space enough for all the maps for East Front system?
Yeah, for two modules, I can do two at a time. But yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So that will wrap it up for this month. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and we will get back together next month for the next show in July, and we'll have some more to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thanks for tuning in tonight. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next time.